Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Fall River Housing Authority postponed regular session meeting. It's Monday, March 20th, 2023, and it's 4:40 p.m. Roll call, Martha, please.
Chairwoman Sahadi.
Here.
Vice Chairman Underhill.
Here.
Commissioner Burns.
Here.
Commissioner Bentley.
Here.
Commissioner Medeiros.
Here.
Thank you. The first item is citizens' input.
Madam Chairman?
Oh, open meeting law first, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sahadi. The language for the open meeting law is as follows. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Patrick Higgins,
Address, please.
1197 Roberson, apartment 1403.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
I'm looking at the agenda for tonight, and you have an open meeting law complaint filed by Patrick Higgins dated 3/11. And it says designate the recommended action is to designate the general counsel to respond to the open meeting law complaint dated 3/11 and the corresponding complaint allegedly filed on 2/13/2023 with insufficient notice to the Fall River Housing Authority. The open meeting law only requires that I send a copy of the open meeting law complaint to you as chairman and the city clerk. So I'm going to ask you, did you not receive an email from me in February with the open meeting law complaint, or are you automatically deleting my emails?
I'm not automatically deleting them, and I don't recall receiving one from you.
Okay? And as far as the insufficient notice, the meeting was held on 2/13, and you received a copy of the new open meeting law complaint dated March 11th for failure to respond, which is still within the 30 days of the February 13th meeting. So therefore, it's still timely, even if you didn't get it till 3/11.
Did you just send it to Commissioner Sahadi's email, private email? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And you didn't send it to the Fall River Housing Authority Board of Commissioners? You
Not
sent it to a
required
personal
by the open
email?
meeting law.
Okay, well,
I sent it to the
I'll get an
same
answer to that
email
because I
address.
disagree with that, but I'll
I
let
sent
you
it to the
speak.
same email address that you sent a copy of her of the request for the extension for the January meeting.
Okay.
So I assume that there was the email of the chairman. The open meeting law only requires that I send a copy to the chairman and the city clerk.
Mr. Higgins, we're not trying to supersede what your complaints are. I'm trying to answer them as frequently as they come in. But it's not, Chairwoman Sahadi did not think that she was getting it at her private email address and it didn't come to the Housing Authority. The Housing Authority should have some sort of a
She
notice.
doesn't have a housing authority email address.
You have a Board of Commissioners email address. Is that correct?
That's not the chairman.
But is that correct? There's a Board of Commissioners email address that you could send it to.
Yes, and
That would be more appropriate. Don't you think it would be more appropriate for you to do that so that we're all on the same page rather than I gotcha?
Then it's a serial deliberation because I'm sending a copy to all 5 members at the same time.
It's not a serial deliberation when you're filing a copy because what the process is they are going to advise whether or not what they're going to discuss tonight, whether or not they're going to allow me to answer your complaint, and that's what we're here to do.
And of course, the main reason for the open meeting law complaint in February was you went into executive session to hold a performance evaluation on your executive director, which is not allowed by the open meeting law. Performance evaluations have to be done in open session. Negotiations go into executive session, but performance evaluations have to be held in open session.
Let me clarify that because I do agree with you there. There was no performance evaluation that was conducted.
That's what the agenda said.
It was how they were going to be distributed to be conducted.
And the other part was, there was no roll call vote. It was done by a voice vote. The last 2 meetings, when you went in executive session, Mary called a voice vote. She did not call a roll call vote.
Okay.
So if we can get that squared away, I'll be happy to work with Chairman Sahadi. She does a good job.
Well, thank you, and I would appreciate it if you could send me a copy of it too so that I know when they're going to be filed.
Not a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
It
if
would be
I-
best if you actually sent one to Mike. The other alternative is I'd get assigned a housing authority email address because I don't always look at my personal emails.
Okay.
That would make it easier, more streamlined, and we wouldn't have a complaint upon a complaint upon a complaint.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm willing to work with you, you know that.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
Not a problem.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is residents' input.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, a couple of quick items. First one, Kevin and I attended the O'Brien Tenant Association meeting last Wednesday. I thought it went very well. Presentation by the new pest company. It looked like he actually had a better handle on what he was doing than the previous one. Hopefully, the tenants were happy. Kevin and I both got an email. I don't know, did you get yours from Sue? Yes. We should have we were going to have a new tenant assistant starting. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I felt. I called Bill Walker, I said, can you get Dave for me? I can't get him on the phone. He said, well, that's because he died last week. I went, oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, I got it. I'm going to call him. I've been dealing with plumbing at home all day. Lots of it. Water in my tubs and basement.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so. And the farmer's market this week, Carol Fiola will be doing her visiting with Carol on Friday during our farmer's market, along with a few other companies that will be there.
Excellent.
On that, it's quiet.
Excellent. That's always good to hear.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Item 2 on the agenda is the minutes of the regular meeting held February 13th, 2023. Recommended action is approval. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3 is bills and communications. Your vouchers are in your packet. Do I have a motion to accept the vouchers?
I make a motion to accept the vouchers.
Second.
Any questions or concerns with regard to the vouchers? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 4 are the management reports. You have the 8 management reports in your packet. Report number 1 is the applications, 2 is the occupancy reports, 3 is the tenant accounts receivable report, 4 is the work order report, 5 is the monthly Section 8 voucher activity report, 6 is the monthly personnel report, 7 is the Director of Modernization's monthly report, and 8 is the bank investment and bond debt balance report. Do I have a motion to accept these reports?
Motion to accept the management reports.
Second.
Any questions with any of these reports as presented? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 5 is the financial reports. This is for the period ended January 31, 2023. This is the 10 months, I'm sorry, 10 months ended January 1, 31. You have the 10 months, you've got the consolidated income and expense, as well as the Section 8, et cetera. Do I have a motion regarding the financial reports?
Motion to accept financial. Second.
Any questions with regard to any of the reports that are included in your packet? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 5B is the insurance policies. These are the policies for April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024. There are 5 policies, or information with regard to 5 policies. It's the public officials insurance, the commercial property insurance, the commercial liability insurance, the automobile insurance, as well as the excess automobile insurance. So you have in here the policy premium amounts for each of these policies. The total premium amount paid in 2022 was $556,440, and the premium amount to be paid in 2023 is $652,498.
Madam Chair, if I just might say, I just wanted to just add I've been putting these together for the past 4 years, so I just wanted to make sure that I kept in the policies, the premiums from the last couple of years, but I just wanted to note that the 2023 property valuation for our federal developments went up to $433 million, just in federal. That's an increase of $80 million, well, $80.4 million in the past 2 years, which is one of the reasons why
It's
the
jumping
premiums
so
have gone
much.
up. That aside from other insurance claims that have been filed.
Do I have a motion on the insurance policies?
Motion approved.
Second.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 6 is an update.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Director Spadella.
Few items for the board this month. I first want to acknowledge Marie Souza, our Coordinator of Tenant Selection, for 40 years of service, not only to the Housing Authority, but in that department. Last month made 40 years. So I wanted to acknowledge her for her dedication and hard work and her knowledge in that department. We'll be having a public hearing next month as a HUD requirement prior to submitting our designated housing plan. As you know, I've mentioned in the past, we are going to submit a revision to HUD to try to get Doolin and Bates as elderly-only designation. So part of that process is a public hearing, and I'm going to schedule that for April. I also want to acknowledge Judy Medeiros, Todd Cabral, and Rita LeBeau in putting together a celebration of life for one of our residents at Olivera Apartments. Him and his wife were married for many years, lived there for many years, and his wife died unexpectedly. He has no family, so they put together a nice celebration in the community hall in her memory. So I want to acknowledge them for doing that, putting that together. As Ed said, last week, I attended a resident meeting for the O'Brien residents. They had concerns on pest control and a few other things. So that was addressed. As Ed said, I thought the meeting went really well. And we'll probably meet again in 2 or 3 months. And we will also be starting a pilot program with the Boys and Girls Club next month, where the Boys Club will bear the cost of transportation and the Housing Authority will bear the cost of the bus monitors. And we're going to pick up some of our kids at Forney Street, Heritage Heights, and Father DeFerrio, and they'll receive a discounted membership rate from the Boys Club. So we have about 14 or 15 kids that signed up for it. So we're going to start that next month. That's all I have for this month.
Thank you. Any questions of our director?
Oh, thank you.
Hearing none, the next item is new business. Item 1 is modernization. It's a change order number 2 for bathroom renovations at Heritage Height. Change order number 2 is an increase in the amount of $8,488 to the contract for the installation of undermount floor drains in 41 bathrooms with no change in the contract time. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the change order. Second.
Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item B is a certificate of completion consolidation for bathroom renovations at Sunset Hill, Heritage Heights, and Father Diafarius Village. Do I have
Motion to approve. Second.
any questions with regard to the certificate of completion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item C is a certificate of substantial completion for the apartment conversion project at Cardinal Medeiros Towers for the 13th floor.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item D is a contract award for the crawl space ventilation project at Sunset Hill. The recommended action is to award the contract to the second lowest bidder, Encore Contracting Services Incorporated, in the amount of $344,100, with a bid alternatives number 1, 2, and 3. The low bidder withdrew their bid, which is why it's going to the second low bidder.
Motion to award the contract.
Second.
Any questions with regard to this award? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item E is permission to advertise for bids for the new fire alarm system at Frank B. Olivera Apartments and Francis J. Baresi Heights.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any questions with regard to this advertising? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item F is permission to advertise for bids for the elevator upgrades at George H. Cartel Heights.
I'll make a motion to advertise for bids for the elevator upgrades at Cattell Heights.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item G is permission to advertise for roof replacements at Elmer Corbett Streets. This is a Chapter 689-1. It's a DHCD number 095165.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item H is change order number 5 for an elevator modernization at Raymond D. Holmes Apartments. This change order number 5 is an increase of 66 days for the contract duration.
I have a question. Has the work already started
For homes,
for the elevators at Holmes?
the project is almost complete. I think during the course of construction, there was a long lead time on a part, so it pushed the days out.
So there's no money involved, it's just time?
It's just time, yes.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Item I is a certificate of substantial completion for the elevator modernization at Raymond D. Holmes Apartments.
Motion to approve certificate of substantial completion for elevator modernization at Raymond D. Holmes Apartments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item J, same project. This is a certificate for completion consolidation for the elevator modernization at Raymond D. Holmes Apartments. So this project is now complete.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2 is miscellaneous. 2A is the disposition or declaration of surplus items. Item 1 is a Toro professional grade driving lawnmower. Item 2 is a 2006 Ford Ranger pickup. And item 3 is a 2017 Ford 250 Super Duty crew cab with an 8-foot Fisher plow and connecting equipment. Do I have a motion to,
I have a question. This is to put it on the surplus list?
Yes,
To
so
put the pieces of equipment on the surplus list? Okay.
we have a lawnmower, an old Ranger pickup, yes. And then it relates to the next item. So whatever we can gain from,
once it's on the list, then you advertise to dispose of it, correct?
yes.
So once it's on the list, then it goes to some type of disposition. Do you ever use the auctions like the city does?
The last one we did, I think Mr. McCoy did, so I
Oh,
don't
yes.
know.
I solicit bids
Oh, okay.
typically in the past. What'll happen here was number 3 will be written, in, assuming 2B passes, number 3 will be written into that bid as a trade. I can't do it as a request for quotes. I have to do a sealed bid process to include a trade-in. And typically that only happens when you anticipate or you're estimating internally a value of at least $10,000. Now, the 2017 should at least get a return value of $10,000. I mean, the book on that with the blade and whatnot would be about $30,000. As you know, with trade-in, you never get really what retail is out there typically. However, I'm going to reserve the right to pull it and then just go out separately for bids also if we feel like we're getting underserved or undercut, so to speak. The others, we don't have much in the way of value. That is something that'll probably be solicited on a lower level for quotes and whatnot. The 2006 Ranger has a trade-in value of maybe $2,000. That would be in good condition. It has a hole in the floor that's rusted out under one of the carpets. And the Toro maybe has a value of $200 to somebody who's, a landscaper and whatnot. So I was even thinking in limited circumstances of opening up those 2 smaller items to our internal employees and contractors for maybe folks who do side jobs, things of that nature, but at least put everything on notice that that's available, because I don't expect a whole heck of a lot for that. But item number 3, again, assuming the board, I don't want to get ahead on the agenda, assuming the board gives permission to advertise, that'll go out to 4 or 5 local Ford dealerships with asking for a trade value to be put on the overall deal for the 2017. 2017 hasn't proved to be real practical for us commissioners. It's a diesel, it's got an extra long bed, it's like kind of like driving a plane. I mean, I don't mean to be sarcastic about it, but it's not an efficient vehicle for a housing authority, quite frankly. And in hindsight, neither was the Ranger. I mean, there's no cab space, you can barely fit into it. It's like that one is kind of like driving around a shoebox. It's basically a mini pickup, and you're talking about being able to move a couple rakes and maybe put a toolbox in the back, but it has, I think it was maybe the thought of it was a little bit more for a managerial type vehicle, but you literally have seats that don't move in it. You can't move in the cab. I mean, it really, again, both of them in hindsight, and 2 opposite schools of thoughts in purchasing it, but both not really practical for what we do, unfortunately.
So when you put something on your surplus, you're putting it there to sell it?
For disposition, yes. To
Okay.
dispose of it as surplus, yeah.
I'm just trying, because we have a whole different process that we do. We can't sell it. We have to put it on the list to see who else wants it.
For another department, well, on the city side, we would
Yeah,
do something like that,
so
see if another department,
yeah.
so let's say,
But it,
not
so
God
if
forbid,
there's-
but let's just say hypothetically, excuse me, God forbid. I mean, we have a DPW pickup that may be in fire training, the fire department, so we would initially.
Yeah, I was just trying to
we would
get
initially
the
notify all
nuances
internal
of what it
departments.
is that's happening,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
all.
here,
I
it
was
really
assuming
is.
you meant a list of items we could dispose of.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure
Yeah.
out what
Yeah.
the.
Here, there is
that's
no
all
additional
concerning.
internal process of asking another department if they could use because it's just facilities, So
Thank
yes,
you.
on the city side, we would do exactly what BCC does.
Got it. Thank you.
So do I have a motion to dispose and declare these 3 items as surplus?
Motion to approve or dispose.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, item B1 is a 2023-2024 Ford F-150 pickup with a 6-foot bed and AC. This is to advertise for this Ford pickup. So this would be looking for a motion to advertise.
That's the connection to the prior, so whatever we get from those items, we're going to put toward this vehicle. We're hoping, as Mr. McCoy explained, to get a decent amount. Not always what it's valued at, but something decent to offset the cost of a new vehicle.
So this is a much smaller vehicle than the
It is.
250?
Yes.
Much more
Which would be
practical.
used as a more practical item. Yeah, I understand.
I'll make a motion to, for permission to advertise.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Item C is an open meeting law complaint filed by Mr. Patrick Higgins dated 3/11/2023. The recommended action is to designate our general counsel, Attorney Souza, to respond to the open meeting law complaint dated 3/11/2023 and the corresponding complaint allegedly filed on 2/13/2023 with insufficient notice to the FR, the Fall River Housing Authority.
And with the insufficient notice comment, I will work with you, Mr. Higgins, to do the remedial measures for that. Okay.
Do I have a motion to designate Attorney Souza?
Motion to designate general counsel to respond to OML complaint dated 2023 and the corresponding complaint allegedly filed on 2/13/2023 with insufficient notice to the FRHA.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 3 is personnel. A is the resignation of an employee. The recommended action is to accept the resignation of Allison Silva, effective February 16th, 2023. And you have that letter in your packet.
Motion to approve the resignation of Allison Silva.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item B is the resignation of an employee, is to accept the resignation of Sarah Madison McCluskey. This is effective March 31, 2023. That too is in your packet.
Motion to approve the resignation of Sarah McCluskey.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3 is 3 clerk interviewer positions. And we'll do each one of these separately. So do I have a motion to ratify the appointment of Marcelina De Villa?
Motion to ratify the appointment of Marceline Del Valle.
Second.
Martha?
Commissioner Maderos?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Second, next person is Brian Matelvo. This is a clerk interviewer position. It's to ratify the appointment.
I'll make a motion to ratify the appointment of Brian Montalvo for clerk interviewer position.
Second.
Commissioner
Martha?
Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Maderos?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. And the third individual is Amanda Paradise. This is the recommended action to ratify the appointment of the clerk interviewer position for Amanda Paradise.
Motion to approve the appointment of Amanda Paradise.
Second.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Maderos?
Yes.
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Item D is the temporary associate director of property management position. This is to ratify the appointment of Timothy Burke.
I'd like to make a motion to table this item tonight.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, concerns, or discussion on this item?
Yeah, so in regards to this, this is not a comment in regards to the person being appointed. This is in regards to the conversation we had, which I felt as a commissioner, I haven't gotten sufficient information to make the decision regarding this appointment. So I would appreciate it if we could get some additional input around a lot of the changes that are being proposed.
If I could just add, some of that information was distributed tonight, the salary analysis. And also, prior to this item, if you've seen, there were 2 resignations, and we hired 3 clerks. One has already changed her mind, and we had another resignation today. This is all in the management department. So part of the theory and the reasons for this is for greater oversight in the management department. Kathleen Povar, who is the director, is tied up with policy and procedure. God bless you. Deb Morissette, who's currently an associate director, both do a fantastic job, but she's overwhelmed with these third-party rent payment organizations, Raft and Shira. So much like we did in the facilities department by adding an additional person for greater oversight, we wanted to do the same thing in the management department. There's about 22 or 23 clerks and managers, and part of my effort to improve customer service, hold people accountable, was to have an additional associate director, maybe out in the field more, performing training or signing people up for training. And that was the reasoning behind that. But certainly, if you have additional questions, or I'm just not sure maybe exactly what you want, so I can get you exactly what you're looking for.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, there were a number of thoughts and questions when I saw this on the agenda that I thought weren't fully answered. So to approve it tonight, I thought might be a little premature.
Certainly, so we can work together and get some additional information to
Absolutely.
the commissioners.
I just want to get you exactly what you're looking for, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have a motion on the table. We have a motion to table from the commissioners. Martha, roll call, please.
Yep. Commissioner Maderas?
Yes?
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
No.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes. Thank you. Next is executive session. We have 3 items for executive session this evening. Item A is union negotiations. It's an update on the Unit A, the anticipated executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, is to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining and litigating positions of the public body, and as the chair, I so declare. Item B is the Community Housing Development Organization, the CHDO. This anticipated executive session is pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant in aid requirement. And item 3 is the Executive Director Contract Negotiations. The anticipated executive session is pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. At the end of executive session, we will not be coming into open session. So at this point, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
I'll second that.
Martha, roll
Commissioner
call.
Maderas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bentley?
Yes.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes.
Commissioner Underhill?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sahadi?
Yes, and do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at the conclusion of executive session?
Motion to conclude at the end of executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening.